This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material.
For the first topic that we'll be talking about, the sexual self, is the development of secondary sex characteristics and the human reproductive system. The development of secondary sex characteristics begins during puberty, a stage triggered by hormonal changes regulated by the brain and endocrine system. In males, increased testosterone leads to deeper voice, facial and body hair growth, broader shoulders, and sperm production in the testes, while in females, estrogen promotes breast development, widening of hips, onset of menstruation, and maturation of the ovaries. These physical changes support the function of the reproductive system. The male system produces and delivers sperm through the structures such as the testes, vas deferens, and penis, while the female system produces ova and supports fertilization and pregnancy through the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. These biological development are essential for reproduction and mark the transition from childhood to sexual maturity.
Discussing the erogenous zone. Erogenous zone are the areas of the body that are particularly sensitive to touch and stimulation because they contain a high concentration of nerve endings. Common primary erogenous zone include the genital, breasts, and nipples, while secondary zone may include the lips, neck, and ears, and inner thigh, and the lower back. Stimulation of this area can trigger sexual arousal by activating the nervous system and increasing blood flow. However, sensitivity varies from person to person due to biological, physiological, and cultural factors. Understanding erogenous zone highlights the importance of communication, consent, and mutual respect in intimate relationship.
The human sexual response follow a predictable physiological pattern commonly explained by the four-stage model, introduced by William Masters and Virginia Johnson. These stages are excitement, pleasure, orgasm, and resolution. During excitement, heart rate increases and blood flows to our genital areas, causing erection in males and vaginal lubrication in females. The pleasure stage intensifies arousal followed by orgasm characterized by rhythmic muscular contraction and peak pleasure. Finally, the resolution stage returns the body its normal resting state. This model explained the physical process involved sexual activity, although the emotional and physiological factors also play significant roles.
Sexual behavior is influenced by biological system involving hormones, the brain, and genetics. Hormones such as testosterone and estrogen regulate sexual desire and reproductive functioning, while brain structure like the hypothalamus and limbic system influence attraction and arousal. Neurotransmitters such as dopamine contribute to feelings of pleasure and motivation. From an evolutionary perspective, sexual behavior supports reproduction and species survival, but in humans, it is also serves social and emotional purposes. Biological mechanisms interact with environment.
The feeling of lust, romantic love, and long-term attachment are associated with specific neurochemicals in the brain. Lust is driven mainly by sex hormones such as testosterone and estrogen, increasing sexual desire. Romantic love also involves dopamine and norepinephrine, which create excitement, energy, and focused attention on a partner. Attachment, which supports long-term bonding, is linked to oxytocin and vasopressin, chemicals released during physical closeness, intimacy. These biological systems work together to form and maintain romantic relationships, showing how emotions are strongly connected to brain chemistry.
Psychological factors such as attraction, fantasies, emotions, past experience, and cultural background strongly influence sexual arousal. What turns one person on may not affect others as sexual desire is shaped by personality values and relationship dynamic. Stress, anxiety, and relationship conflict can reduce arousal, while emotional intimacy and positive self-image can enhance it. Culture and physical phase of sexual response follow biological process, processes, physiological red lines, and mental situation are equal important sexual response. Therefore, it is both a mental and physical experience.
The diversity of sexual behavior: solitary, heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, and transsexual. Sexual behavior widely across individuals and cultures. Solitary behavior refers to self-simulation, while heterosexual behavior involves attraction to the opposite sex. Homosexual behavior involves attraction to the same sex, and bisexual behavior involves attraction to the both sexes. Transsexual individuals, more accurately referred today as transgender individuals, identify with a gender different from the sex assigned at birth, and their sexual orientation can vary independently of their gender. Understanding sexual diversity promotes respect, inclusivity, and recognition of human rights, emphasizing that sexual orientation and gender identity are natural aspects of human diversity.
Sexually transmitted infections or STIs are diseases, infections, or illnesses that can be spread from a person with an STI to another through sexual contact. That includes genital-to-genital contact, which is contact with penises, scrotum, vulvas, or vaginas to any kind of sex, oral, anal, or vaginal sex. Some STI are fairly common, so there's nothing to be embarrassed about if you've ever get one. Some STI do not cause any symptoms, so many people who have an STI do not know it and might spread it, but those who do have symptoms, they may experience a swelling around the genitals, bumps, sores, or rashes on the genitals, itching, burning, or pain when urinating. And girls may get a vaginal discharge that is different from normal. If you have any of these symptoms, or if you've had unprotected sex, it's important to get tested for STIs. STI tests differ. Some are blood tests, some test urine, and still others use a swab of saliva or a discharge. Even if you use protection, it's a good idea to get tested for STI at least once a year. You can get an STI test from a hospital or healthcare center. Some STI can be cured, while others cannot. Their symptoms can be managed with their medication. Some STI, if left untreated, can cause serious health problems later in life. So remember, once a person becomes sexually active, it is important to use condoms and other latex barriers and to get tested for STIs regularly.
Natural methods. There are two methods of contraception, the natural and the artificial methods. The natural methods of contraception involve preventing pregnancy without the use of medical devices or hormonal treatments. These methods rely on understanding the body fertility cycle and avoiding intercourse during fertile periods. Examples includes abstinence, which is 100% effective when practiced consistently, the calendar or the rhythm method, which track menstrual cycle to predict ovulation, the withdrawal method, where the male partner withdraws before ejaculation, and fertility awareness methods that monitor basal body temperature and cervical mucus changes. While the natural methods are cost-free and have no medical side effect, they require discipline, accurate tracking, and strong communication between partners, as their effectiveness largely depends on correct and consistently use.
Artificial methods of contraception involves medical, hormonal, or biotechniques designed to prevent pregnancy. Bar methods such as male and female condoms block sperm from reaching the egg, while hormonal methods like birth control pills, patches, injection, and implant regulates hormones to prevent ovulation. Intrauterine device or IUDs are placed inside the uterus to prevent fertilization, and permanent methods such as vasectomy in males and tubular ligation in female permanently blocks reproductive pathways. Artificial methods are generally more effective than the natural methods when used correctly and concisely. And some, like condoms, are also provide protection against sexually transmitted infection. However, certain hormonal and surgical options may have side effects or require medical consultation.